I'm in part 14 of my revision of my American history notes, and I want to talk about the Anasazi culture still and their disappearance. And I want to summarize or quote from a an article that's almost 30 years old, but it was a theory that came out, is published in the New York Times on August the 20th. It was written by George Johnson, and it said that they don't know what made the Anasazi disappear, but this theory is social strife may have exiled ancient Indians. So I'm going to read something from the article. Until very recently, the most perplexing mystery of Southwestern archaeology, what caused the collapse of the ancient empire of the Anasazi, seemed all but solved. Careful scrutiny of tree ring records seemed to establish that in the late 1200s, a prolonged dry spell called the Great Drought drove these people, the ancestors of today's Pueblo Indians, to abandon their magnificent stone villages at Mesa Verde and elsewhere on the Colorado Plateau, never to return again. But in the last few years, Southwestern archaeology has been shaken with a quiet revolution. Textbooks are being rewritten as the common wisdom taught to generations of students is overturned. Quote, nobody is talking about great droughts anymore, said Dr. Linda Cordell, a professor of anthropology at the University of Colorado in Boulder and director of the Natural Museum there, History Museum there. This is some time ago now. The mystery of the Anasazi is an open book again. So, groundbreaking climatological studies have convinced many archaeologists that the so-called Great Drought, as detractors now call it, simply was not bad enough to be the deciding factor in the sudden evacuation in which tens of thousands of Anasazi moved to the Hopi mesas in northeastern Arizona, to the Zuni lands in western New Mexico, and to dozens of adobe villages in the watershed of the Rio Grande. And this is the Anasazi, means enemy ancestors in Navajo. And the quote here from Dr. Eric Blimman of the Office of Archaeological Studies of the Museum of New Mexico in Santa Fe was that there are just too many little discrepancies. Recent studies have shown, for example, that the evacuation actually began before the dry spell set in. Even in more is telling is evidence that Anasazi had weathered many severe droughts in the past. So what they're suggesting here, as they sifting through evidence, is they're drawing conclusions that the popular image of the Anasazi as a peaceable kingdom of farmers and potters, some of the mythology in our popular culture. Some of the new research puts the blame on the collapse on a bloody civil war. Other researchers are trying to combine archaeological evidence with anthropological studies of modern Pueblo Indians to make the case that the Anasazi were roiled by a religious crisis as divisive as European medieval heresies. In some scenarios, the Anasazi were pulled further south en masse by an attractive new religion. So the lack of a written record makes it very difficult to come up with these ideas and conclusions. But they do believe, many of these scientists do believe, that the result of what happened would have been conflict and warfare, which destroyed the Anasazi culture. And so you have this, you have a lot of controversy about that. And there always will be, because if you don't have something that you can point to that says somebody saying this is what happened to us, then you're sort of left with that. But so archaeologists disagree, of course. So I want to stop there, and we'll continue with this pre-Columbian America. There's a lot of, I want to talk about the Adena Hopewell culture next of Southern Ohio. All right. Thank you. And I appreciate this. You watching this video and listening. Please click like and subscribe or follow and share the video with someone else. Save it to favorites, watch it again, repost it. But feel free to make your own comments. Thank you.